Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling unstoppable. Imagine stepping into 2026 with a clear vision, unwavering confidence, and the energy to conquer every challenge. What if I told you that the key to this transformation is not a new job, not a big investment, and not some secret formula, but a single daily habit that, when mastered, can completely transform your life? Consistent action is the single most powerful force behind personal growth, achievement, and lasting transformation. It is what separates those who dream from those who accomplish, those who talk about change from those who live it. Every meaningful success in life, no matter how monumental it seems in hindsight, is built on a foundation of small, repeated efforts carried out over time. The truth is, transformation does not happen in a single leap, and greatness is never the result of sporadic effort or occasional bursts of energy. Instead, it emerges from the dedication to doing the right things day after day, even when progress seems invisible or slow. Many people underestimate the value of consistency because it often appears mundane, repetitive, and lacking in immediate excitement. They chase dramatic breakthroughs, quick wins, or overnight success, failing to realize that these moments are usually the result of years of consistent action that went unseen. The compound effect of repeated efforts is what transforms ordinary results into extraordinary achievements. Each small step, each deliberate choice, and each committed effort builds momentum, shaping habits, reinforcing discipline, and strengthening the resilience needed to face challenges along the way. When a person embraces consistent action, they learn to trust the process, to believe in incremental progress, and to understand that even tiny improvements accumulate into massive outcomes over time. This principle applies in every area of life, from career advancement to physical health, from learning a new skill to cultivating meaningful relationships. Someone who practices a small, productive habit every day, whether it's writing, exercising, or studying, gradually develops mastery and confidence in that area. That mastery is not accidental, it is the natural result of repetition and persistence. Consistent action also builds momentum, and momentum is a critical force in human behavior. Once a person starts moving forward in a deliberate and sustained way, the energy generated by repeated action propels them further than they initially imagined. Momentum reduces the friction of doubt, inertia, and procrastination because the habit itself becomes self-reinforcing. Each completed action becomes evidence of capability, which strengthens belief and fuels further effort. On the other hand, inconsistency undermines progress, creates confusion, and fosters frustration. Starting and stopping repeatedly produces no meaningful forward motion, leaving individuals feeling stuck and disheartened. By committing to consistent action, a person creates a reliable structure for growth, a framework that supports long-term achievement. Furthermore, consistent action teaches discipline, patience, and resilience. Life is unpredictable and obstacles are inevitable, but the practice of daily effort develops the mental and emotional muscles necessary to navigate setbacks without losing direction or momentum. Discipline grows naturally when action is repeated consistently because the act of doing itself becomes a habit that requires less willpower over time. In this way, consistent action is not just about achieving a specific goal, it is about developing the character, mindset, and fortitude required to thrive in any circumstance. It encourages a mindset of accountability where a person recognizes that their future is not determined by luck or fleeting inspiration, but by the choices they make consistently, day after day. It creates a sense of ownership over one's life, reinforcing the belief that effort leads to results and that every small action contributes to the larger vision. In essence, consistent action transforms potential into reality, dreams into tangible outcomes, and ideas into accomplishments. It is the engine of transformation, the invisible thread that links ambition to achievement, and the cornerstone of any meaningful, lasting change. Mindset is the invisible force that shapes every aspect of life, influencing how we perceive challenges, approach opportunities, and respond to setbacks. It is the lens through which we interpret our experiences, and it ultimately determines whether we see obstacles as insurmountable barriers or as opportunities for growth. A powerful and positive mindset is not just a feel-good concept, it is the foundation for achievement, resilience, and transformation. Individuals with a growth-oriented mindset recognize that their abilities, intelligence, and skills are not fixed. They can be developed and strengthened through effort, learning, and persistence. This understanding allows them to embrace challenges rather than avoid them, to persist in the face of failure, and to view criticism as valuable feedback instead of a personal attack. Conversely, a fixed mindset convinces a person that their capabilities are static, that talent alone dictates success, and that mistakes are evidence of inadequacy. This type of mindset limits potential, creates fear of failure, and fosters stagnation. The impact of mindset is profound because it shapes behavior, decisions, and long-term outcomes. Two individuals with similar skills, resources, and opportunities can experience dramatically different results based solely on the way they think about themselves and their circumstances. A mindset rooted in possibility and optimism drives action, encourages creativity, and enables problem solving, whereas a mindset clouded by doubt and negativity leads to hesitation, missed opportunities, and self-sabotage. Developing the right mindset requires self-awareness, reflection, and intentional practice. It begins with understanding the internal dialogue that runs constantly in the mind, the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that shape perception. Many people underestimate the power of their inner voice, yet it is the silent director of daily decisions and long-term behavior. By consciously cultivating thoughts that empower rather than limit, individuals can reprogram their perspective and influence their outcomes. Visualization, affirmations, goal setting, and journaling are practical tools to reinforce a mindset of growth and possibility. These practices create neural pathways that strengthen positive thought patterns, making it easier to respond to challenges with confidence and composure. Mindset also dictates emotional resilience. Life inevitably presents obstacles, failures, and disappointments, but the way a person interprets and responds to these events depends on their mental framework. Those with a constructive mindset view setbacks as temporary, specific, and solvable, which allows them to learn from experience and recover quickly. They understand that failure is not a reflection of worth, but a necessary part of the learning process. On the other hand, a negative or rigid mindset magnifies setbacks, fosters helplessness, and erodes motivation, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of frustration and stagnation. The influence of mindset extends to relationships, communication, and leadership. Individuals with a positive, adaptive mindset inspire trust, collaboration, and loyalty because their outlook radiates confidence, stability, and purpose. They approach conflicts with empathy, solutions, and understanding rather than defensiveness or blame. Furthermore, a strong mindset enhances focus and productivity. When the mind is oriented toward growth, the individual prioritizes high-value actions, maintains clarity under pressure, and resists distractions that derail progress. Thoughts aligned with purpose and possibility create an internal compass, guiding decisions and behaviors toward meaningful outcomes. In essence, mindset is the architecture of personal reality. It frames perception, fuels motivation, and drives action. Cultivating a mindset that embraces learning, resilience, and optimism transforms the way a person engages with the world. It enables consistent progress, empowers decision-making, and lays the groundwork for lasting achievement. Those who master their mindset unlock potential that far exceeds the limits imposed by circumstance, talent, or luck. Habits are the invisible architecture of life, quietly shaping every decision, every action, and ultimately every outcome we experience. They are the routines we perform so often that they become automatic, requiring little conscious thought. Yet their cumulative effect on our lives is profound. The power of habits lies in their ability to create consistency, structure, and momentum, enabling small actions to generate massive results over time. While inspiration and motivation can spark change, they are fleeting and unreliable. It is habits that sustain growth, progress, and transformation. Developing the right habits is not merely about doing more or trying harder. It is about intentionally designing behaviors that align with your goals, values, and vision for your life. A single positive habit, practiced daily, can become the catalyst for profound change. For example, committing to reading for 30 minutes each day expands knowledge, improves critical thinking, and builds discipline. Journaling consistently fosters clarity, reflection, and emotional resilience. Regular exercise strengthens the body and mind, reinforcing self-control and energy. Each habit, no matter how small, compounds over time, creating momentum that propels an individual toward higher levels of achievement. Conversely, negative or unproductive habits accumulate in the opposite direction, slowly eroding potential and creating limitations. The true power of habits lies in their compounding effect. Just as money grows exponentially through compound interest, habits shape results in ways that are often invisible at first but undeniable over months and years. Small actions repeated consistently produce outcomes far greater than occasional bursts of effort or last-minute pushes. This is why success is rarely sudden. It is the natural consequence of deliberate, repeated actions embedded into daily routines. Habits also influence mindset because the repeated choices we make reinforce our beliefs and self-perception. A person who cultivates habits of discipline, focus, and resilience begins to see themselves as capable, determined, and successful. The act of following through, even on small commitments, strengthens confidence, builds self-efficacy, and creates a sense of control over life. Habits are also deeply intertwined with identity. We are, in large part, the sum of our daily behaviors. Each habit we practice signals to ourselves and the world who we are and what we value. By intentionally choosing habits that reflect the person we aspire to become, we align our actions with our vision, reinforcing both behavior and identity simultaneously. Changing habits is not always easy because it requires overcoming inertia, breaking old patterns, and replacing them with new routines. It demands awareness, intention, and repetition. However, with the right approach, even small incremental changes can have dramatic long-term effects. Strategies such as habit stacking, where a new behavior is linked to an existing routine, or focusing on keystone habits that trigger positive changes in multiple areas of life, can accelerate progress and increase the likelihood of success. The power of habits also lies in their ability to automate excellence. Once a habit is established, it reduces the need for constant motivation or willpower, allowing consistent progress without draining mental energy. This creates a framework in which positive actions become natural, effortless, and sustainable, freeing attention and energy to focus on higher-level goals and creative pursuits. In every great achievement, from mastering a skill to building wealth, from developing health to cultivating meaningful relationships, habits are the invisible driving force. They create predictability, reinforce values, and enable incremental improvement that compounds into extraordinary results. Understanding and harnessing the power of habits transforms the way a person approaches life, equipping them with the ability to intentionally shape outcomes, achieve goals, and live in alignment with their highest aspirations. By consciously choosing and cultivating the right habits, individuals can leverage this powerful force to unlock potential, drive progress, and create a life of sustained success. Focus is the concentrated energy of the mind directed toward a specific purpose, and it is one of the most decisive factors in achieving meaningful results in life. In a world filled with distractions, constant noise, and endless streams of information, the ability to focus has become more valuable than ever. Focus is not simply the act of paying attention, it is the deliberate direction of mental, emotional, and physical energy toward what matters most, enabling consistent progress and measurable outcomes. Without focus, even the most talented individuals, the most carefully laid plans, and the most powerful intentions are wasted because energy dissipates across too many directions, leaving nothing substantial accomplished. The power of focus lies in its ability to create momentum. When attention is concentrated on a single priority, it generates clarity, builds consistency, and accelerates progress. Every action becomes purposeful rather than accidental, and every decision aligns with a larger objective. This alignment is essential because scattered effort leads to mediocrity, while focused effort leads to mastery. Focus also amplifies the impact of habits and actions. A person can engage in productive behaviors daily, but without focus, these actions may not yield maximum results. When energy and attention are deliberately applied to high-value tasks, even small actions become powerful catalysts for transformation. Focus works in tandem with vision and goals. A clear vision defines the destination, and focus ensures that the path toward it is direct and unobstructed. It prevents distractions, reduces wasted effort, and allows individuals to prioritize what truly matters. People who master focus are able to filter out noise, resist temptations, and say no to activities, thoughts, or influences that do not contribute to their objectives. Developing focus requires self-awareness and discipline. It begins with understanding what is most important in any given context and consciously choosing where to direct attention. Multitasking, constant interruptions, and reactive behavior all undermine focus, fragmenting energy and reducing effectiveness. By creating routines, setting boundaries, and managing time intentionally, a person can protect their focus and cultivate an environment conducive to deep work and sustained effort. Focus also strengthens decision-making and problem-solving abilities. When the mind is concentrated on a single objective, it becomes easier to evaluate options, identify the most effective strategies, and act decisively. Clarity of thought emerges from the elimination of mental clutter, allowing solutions to surface more quickly and actions to be more precise. Emotional focus is equally important because feelings such as fear, doubt, and frustration can divert attention and drain energy. Developing the ability to maintain focus despite internal and external pressures is a hallmark of high performers and successful individuals. Focus is not just about productivity, it is about leverage. Concentrating effort on the right priorities multiplies results and accelerates growth. A single focused hour can be more impactful than an entire day spent in scattered activity. It transforms effort into results, turning potential energy into tangible outcomes. In every field, from business to sports, from learning to creative work, the individuals who achieve extraordinary results are those who master the art of focus. They understand that talent and intention are insufficient without concentrated application, and they deliberately train their minds to sustain attention on what matters most. Focus also reinforces habits, mindset, and consistency. When attention is intentionally applied, positive habits are strengthened, clarity of purpose is maintained, and consistent action is more effective. Without focus, even the best strategies falter and progress stalls. Ultimately, focus is the bridge between ambition and achievement. It transforms ideas into action, intentions into results, and potential into reality. It empowers individuals to navigate complexity, resist distractions, and channel energy in a purposeful, results-driven manner. Mastering focus allows a person to act with precision, maintain momentum, and accomplish objectives that would be impossible under scattered or distracted effort. In essence, focus is the engine that drives productivity, accelerates growth, and enables individuals to achieve their highest potential. Success is not a matter of luck, coincidence, or circumstance. It is the natural result of the choices a person makes every day. Each decision, whether big or small, sets a trajectory that shapes the path of life and ultimately determines the outcomes we experience. While talent, opportunity, and external factors can influence results, they are secondary to the power of intentional decision-making. The truth is that ordinary people achieve extraordinary results because they consistently make choices that align with their goals, values, and long-term vision. Conversely, those who struggle stagnate or fail often do so because their choices are reactive, impulsive, or misaligned with what truly matters. Every moment presents countless options, and the quality of these choices compounds over time. Selecting actions that are purposeful and intentional produces momentum, builds character, and reinforces habits that drive continued success. Small decisions, when repeated consistently, often have a far greater impact than infrequent, dramatic actions. Choosing to invest time in personal growth, to maintain discipline, or to focus on high-value priorities might seem insignificant in isolation, but over weeks, months, and years, these choices create exponential results. The power of choice also lies in personal responsibility. When individuals recognize that their current reality is largely the product of their decisions, they gain control over the direction of their lives. This perspective shifts focus from external blame or excuses to internal empowerment. It reinforces the understanding that, regardless of circumstance, people have the capacity to shape their outcomes through deliberate, informed, and consistent action. Successful individuals approach choices with clarity and intention. They identify what truly matters, define specific goals, and consciously select actions that move them closer to those objectives. They prioritize long-term value over short-term gratification, understanding that the decisions made today compound into future results. On the other hand, impulsive, reactive, or convenience-driven decisions often lead to delayed progress, frustration, and missed opportunities. The quality of choices also reflects a person's mindset, values, and self-awareness. Making decisions in alignment with purpose reinforces identity, strengthens confidence, and deepens commitment to long-term goals. Each choice becomes a vote for the type of person one wishes to become and the life one wishes to live. Recognizing the connection between choice and consequence cultivates discipline, accountability, and foresight. Effective decision-making also involves evaluating risks, anticipating outcomes, and understanding trade-offs. Not every choice is simple or obvious, and success often requires selecting the path that demands effort, patience, and resilience rather than the easiest or most comfortable option. By embracing responsibility for outcomes, individuals gain the courage to act decisively, to navigate uncertainty, and to persist despite challenges. Choices are cumulative, and their compounded effects determine the trajectory of life. Just as saving a small amount consistently builds wealth over time, consistently making intentional, high-value choices builds momentum and accelerates progress. Conversely, neglecting this principle allows randomness, distraction, and habit to dictate results, leaving potential untapped and opportunities unrealized. Furthermore, understanding the role of choices in success fosters adaptability. Life is dynamic, and the ability to make informed decisions in the face of change is critical for continued growth. Those who embrace the power of choice are able to pivot, adjust strategies, and seize new opportunities without losing sight of long-term objectives. Ultimately, success is not defined by luck or circumstance, but by the accumulation of decisions that reflect purpose, discipline, and clarity of vision. Every action taken, every path chosen, and every moment spent consciously deciding shapes the life a person experiences. The process of choosing intentionally cultivates responsibility, reinforces values, strengthens habits, and builds momentum that transforms potential into tangible achievement. By mastering the art of deliberate decision making, individuals gain the ability to design their lives, direct their energy toward meaningful outcomes, and create a legacy of consistent success. Transformation is not a distant dream or an abstract concept reserved for a few extraordinary individuals. It is a process that is accessible to anyone who is willing to commit to change and take deliberate action. Every person has the capacity to evolve, improve, and reinvent themselves, regardless of past experiences, setbacks, or limitations. Transformation begins with the recognition that change is possible and that the life you desire can be created through intentional effort, consistent habits, and the right mindset. Many people wait for the perfect moment, for external conditions to align, or for a sudden burst of inspiration to propel them forward. But the truth is that the opportunity for transformation exists in the present moment. It is always within reach, and it is activated by the decisions and actions taken today. The process of transformation involves more than superficial adjustments. It requires a commitment to self-awareness, personal growth, and consistent practice. It begins with clarity about who you are, who you want to become, and the life you wish to create. This clarity serves as a guiding compass, allowing every action, decision, and habit to align with your larger vision. Without a clear sense of direction, efforts can become scattered, inconsistent, and ultimately ineffective. One of the most powerful aspects of transformation is that it is incremental. It does not require overnight breakthroughs or radical reinventions. Small, deliberate changes practiced consistently over time compound into profound and lasting results. This principle applies to every area of life, whether it is personal development, career growth, health, relationships, or financial success. Every choice to act in alignment with your goals, no matter how minor it seems, contributes to the momentum necessary for transformation. Transformation also demands resilience and adaptability. Change is rarely linear, and setbacks, failures, and obstacles are inevitable. What separates those who achieve meaningful transformation from those who do not is the ability to persevere, to learn from difficulties, and to continue moving forward despite challenges. Resilience is cultivated through experience, self-reflection, and the conscious decision to view setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than reasons to quit. Mindset plays a critical role in making transformation achievable. A person who believes that change is possible is far more likely to take consistent action, embrace challenges, and persist in the face of adversity. Conversely, self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs create barriers that make transformation appear distant or unattainable. By actively cultivating a mindset that embraces growth, possibility, and resilience, individuals open themselves to the full potential of transformation. Habits and daily routines are also fundamental to lasting change. The behaviors practiced consistently form the structure upon which transformation is built. By intentionally selecting habits that reflect the desired outcome, a person can rewire patterns, reinforce positive behaviors, and align daily actions with long-term objectives. This creates a feedback loop in which effort leads to visible progress, which in turn reinforces commitment and motivation. Another essential element of transformation is action. Ideas, intentions, and plans alone are insufficient. Transformation requires doing, taking tangible steps that move a person closer to their vision. These actions, when repeated consistently and guided by clarity and purpose, accumulate into meaningful results. Transformation is not an abstract future goal. It is a continuous process, activated by the choices made in the present, sustained by consistency, and reinforced by belief. Every individual possesses the power to initiate change, to break free from limiting patterns, and to move toward a life of greater fulfillment, purpose, and achievement. It is a process that is always accessible, provided there is willingness to act, learn, and persist. By embracing the understanding that transformation is within reach, individuals can step into a mindset of empowerment, take responsibility for their journey, and begin creating a life that reflects their highest potential. Ladies and gentlemen, the power to change your life is not somewhere in the future. It's in your hands, in the choices you make today, tomorrow, and every day after. Step into your greatness, embrace your potential, and make this the year that your transformation becomes unstoppable.